We're looking at the economic impact of sports franchises and their stadiums on their cities. The general feeling is that adding a new stadium or franchise to a city will do nothing but benefit that city. But is this really the case?
First, we need to address what expansion teams are, what relocating teams are, and what the differences are. An expansion team is a brand new franchise new to its respective league, while a relocating team is a pre-existing franchise that changes the city it plays in. Both of these scenarios usually include a new stadium being constructed in that new city, which significantly impacts that city's economy.
The most recent example of an expansion team is the Vegas Golden Knights of the NHL. They played their inaugural season in 2017 through 2018 in their home T-Mobile Arena. It's located in the Vegas Strip and costed about $375 million to build. The Golden Knights won 51, 24, and 7 their first season. On February 1st, the Golden Knights broke the record for most wins by an NHL expansion team in their first year. On February 21st, they broke the record for the most points by an expansion team in their inaugural season. They became the first expansion team since the Edmonton Oilers and the Hartford Whalers in the 1979 to 1980 season to make the playoffs their inaugural season. This success brought in an average of 18,042 fans a game, ranking 17th out of 31 teams in the NHL for attendance. As a scale, the Hartford Whalers brought in 9,854 fans a game their first season. The Vegas Golden Knights' wins were not the only factor for the turnout, but it didn't hurt. Vegas could support the team because it's a very wealthy city to begin with. The question lies in whether the number of residents of the city can support the team in the long run.
A recent example of a relocation in pro sports is the Rams, who moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles. The relocation was made official on January 4th, 2016. They currently play in the Los Angeles Coliseum, but they have plans to move into their new $5 billion stadium. One of the most passionate relationships in the modern world is between sports franchises and their city and fans. In cities like Philadelphia, Chicago, New York, and Boston, sports truly unite the people. Because of this tremendous bond, sports franchises are usually great money makers for cities, not only through merchandise, tickets, and parking. It is very common for various shops and restaurants to pop up on streets close to the stadiums in cities. Their goal is to attract fans coming from sports games, and as long as the teams are supported well, they're usually very successful. For example, the Philadelphia Eagles franchise created over $430 million in 2016 alone. In Philadelphia, there is a new sports bar and hangout complex for fans of all four Philadelphia teams. The Xfinity Live Center is located in between the stadiums of the teams, so it's appealing to all fans. Because it's so easy to access, it is always full of fans and constantly generating money for the city.
Teams relocating in pro sports is more common than new expansion teams being created. The Seattle Supersonics moved to Oklahoma City to become the Thunder. The San Diego Chargers moved to Los Angeles. The St. Louis Rams also moved to Los Angeles. The Oakland Raiders are moving to Las Vegas in the near future. The Montreal Expos moved to Washington, D.C. and became the Nationals. On the flip side, even though they are not too common, expansions still happen every once so often. The Vegas Golden Knights, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Colorado Rockies, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans are all former expansion teams.
There are many minor influences on whether a new team succeeds in its city, either expansion or relocation. However, the overall success is largely dependent on two factors, and they often go hand in hand. If the team performs well and the fans are supportive, the team is likely to do well financially in their city and stay there. If the team performs well, but the fans don't support them well, it is closer to a 50-50. And if the team plays poorly and the fans don't support them, then they are more than likely to leave.
For example, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Colorado Rockies, and Houston Texans have generally been good and well supported, so they are not likely to move again. The Seattle Sonics, San Diego Chargers, and Oakland Raiders were usually good teams, but because of a lack of team support, they all ended up relocating.
One of the biggest failures with this kind of thing was with Atlanta hockey. Twice a team was put there, and both times it failed. Both the Atlanta Flames and Atlanta Thrashers failed and eventually moved on to a new city. The Flames became the Calgary Flames, and the Atlanta Thrashers became the Carolina Hurricanes. For both teams, attendance was awful. The Thrashers averaged just over 13,000 fans per game, and the Flames just over 10,000. This failure was due to a lack of interest in hockey in Atlanta, combined with the teams performing poorly. Thus, no fans showed up to the games, the teams didn't make any money, and the teams were short-lived.
In conclusion, our goal is to examine the relationship between a city and their team in order to understand why teams relocate and why certain expansion teams are created. Thank you.